Right, this panel, ladies and gentlemen, is about content, user reviews, people having opinions about food, that whole game, and it's a big deal because I mean, if you look at startups like Yelp in the US, who's tried to scale across Europe. I mean, Google tried to buy Yelp at one stage and failed miserably, or perhaps Yelp should have taken that deal when it was on the table. And so the whole reviews market is still everything to play for, and certainly in emerging markets like in MENA, there's lots to be done. So let's hear from you guys. First of all, introduce yourself, sir.
Yeah, my name is Daniel Neuwirth. I'm a bit too loud, I guess. It's better now. Okay, so I'm Daniel Neuwirth. I'm the co-founder of Shahia.com, and we're the biggest cooking website in the Middle East in terms of traffic.
Cooking, right. Albinder.
I'm Albinder. I head international operations for Zomato.com. We are a restaurant guide originally started in India and now in 6 countries.
Didn't you start in Italy? Where did you start?
India.
India, that's right. Cool, sorry. Why did I think Italy? Are you in Italy?
No.
Which countries are you in?
So we're India, UK, UAE, Qatar, Sri Lanka, and as of this morning, Philippines.
As of this morning, Philippines?
Yeah, I had to get up at 3 a.m. in the morning. That was
Did we
fun.
get that press release?
Yes, you probably did.
We did? I hope so.
Yeah.
I'll check later, and if I didn't, you'll be in trouble.
I will follow up.
So, what should we talk about with this? What should we talk about with this content, with this subject?
Maybe we should have taken that email seriously to discuss what we should talk about.
In America, there was a big craze called the Instagram craze, where people were taking photographs of their food. One day, Instagram went down, and all of a sudden on Twitter, people were saying, "Oh my God, Instagram is down. How am I going to eat?" Because people were obsessed with taking photographs of their food. Now, that was kind of a really interesting kind of phenomena, wasn't it? But the whole process of going online and reviewing a restaurant or reviewing the food can be quite laborious, really, if you think about it. Only really obsessive people do it. Maybe there's a lot of obsessive people. People who are into food, aren't they? How do you incentivize users to do that?
For actually the part of the world where we started and sort of expanded initially is also not very social part where people don't really go online as much to write a review. They will come for information. So one of the things you really have to do is sort of lower the bar for them. So user-generated content model where the user has to create a restaurant listing, put in the address, put in what cuisine it is, and then write a review doesn't really fly. So we try to lower the bar for the user that if they're going to go and rate a restaurant, we provide them all the information. The menu is there. So if they had a dish, they don't remember the name, they can flip to the menu, write a review. Having said that, we are not a review-first platform. We are primarily an information platform. And that's pretty much what you can hope to be a very comprehensive information platform, especially in the Middle East and India. UK, of course, users are much more tech-savvy. They will come, they'll write reviews, they'll even criticize the product here and there, and they'll demand features, but not in this area.
And what's the incentive for people?
Well, for recipes, it's a little bit different because we're targeting a different audience, if you want. As you know, I mean, food cooking is really at the heart of social interaction in the Middle East. So you've got plenty of women who have a lot of time and who are very proud of their cooking skills. So on our website, for example, we've been able to just attract cooks to share recipes and comment on each other's recipes by having a platform that makes the sharing easy on the one hand, but also structuring in a manner that it makes the recipes clear to understand for browsers. And also we've been pretty pioneers, if I may so, in the region of setting a certain standard for recipes to be submitted. So for example, all our recipes are editorially reviewed. And while we have more than 7,000 user-generated recipes on our website, we've got more than 1,000 that we rejected, and we reject and tell them, guys, you have to, for example, specify exactly how much, like for example, 2 eggs, half a kilo of chicken, and you can't just say chicken, eggs, etc. And the interesting thing is actually is that, to our surprise, we've got users who get the message back, they fix their recipes, add them again, and then suddenly they become serial submitters of content. Of course, the fact that these recipes get reviewed, you get an email, someone finds your recipe, reminding them of how your mother used to cook, etc., is an extra incentive. But there is kind of, on the one hand, the sharing of your pride, and then, of course, the reward of users coming in and telling you either, well, actually I do it differently, or I do it exactly like that, or I heard about this recipe, finally I could find it, or I tried it, etc., etc. So there's a reward mechanism, if you want, and yeah, it's working out pretty well.
Let's talk about business models. The traditional business model is advertising, of course. How's that market? First of all, let's ask about advertising and how that advertising market is playing out in MENA. And then second of all, let's move on to other kinds of business models you might have, such as, I don't know, premium accounts or something. Go for it.
So we've pretty much avoided the whole premium account sponsored listing stuff because we had a very clear intention of keeping the content, the independent content separate and the advertising separate, and it should be visible to the user. We did try that at one point of time, and like the users shred it to pieces, so we basically like just avoided that. Especially in the MENA region, it's kind of been a very, like, it's been a pull to get local merchants on board to advertise. Of course, just like any developing market, like India, merchants are not, sort of don't see the value in going online for advertising. They're so much more comfortable just getting their pamphlets printed and distributed across the city. But I think they see their kids use Facebook, or they see their, they see all around that, okay, it is a medium that's working. What you really have to do is sort of get involved in their business. At least for us from the restaurant industry, it's that we have to get to know their business very intimately, and basically give them very tangible metrics that, okay, we generated X amount of business for you guys. Without that, there is no hope of actually getting the merchants on board.
So you have to, surely you have to provide some back-end analytics to the
a lot of it.
venue owners.
You will be surprised how comfortable people are with numbers in this part of the world, and unless you actually and they will question it. So we send out these reports at the end of the month for paying customers, and we always just assume that this is a guy who didn't really seem like he went to high school, but they will come back, they'll ask, oh, you're quoting this doesn't seem right, or why is this happening? We recently had somebody ask that why was there a spike on the 14th of February? So
14th of February as in Valentine's Day?
Yes, he did not know it was Valentine's Day, so he was surprised that there was a spike in our...
You weren't aware?
No, we were. The merchant wasn't.
Oh, the market wasn't, right.
The particular restaurant owner wasn't that.
Right.
It was, so
he hadn't heard of Valentine's Day?
He hadn't heard of Valentine's Day.
And he's in the restaurant business?
He's in the restaurant
Oh
business.
my God. No, was he just about to go out of business?
No, he's doing pretty well. It's like a small, a shawarma shop in Dubai.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Well, if I might, well, our model is a little bit different because we've got, in a way it's similar, but different in the sense that we've got an audience that has, first of all, a very clear demographic, like 90+% women, 80% married, age group 18-35. So it's a very, very focused audience. And we have them at a point of intent, which is also very unique, when they're looking for information and solutions to cook. So for this, you've got plenty of premium advertisers or international brands, whether they're food brands or household appliances, etc., who actually want to convey a certain message exactly at that time of thought, if you want, at that point in the funnel of the decision making for any purchase. So in that sense, whether it is through classical banner advertising or more sophisticated solutions, content integration, etc., there is a market for premium advertising. But it's, of course, in the MENA, it's still at its beginning. We've been talking with a lot of brands. We already recruited several on our website, big international brands like Arla, like Activia, and so on and so forth. So, and we see that there's a bigger appetite for it because sure, digital advertising is something more and more expanding in the region, but they want also to see solutions beyond just classical banner advertising. So having a very clear, theme and audience gives you an opportunity to provide a solution.
Let's talk about money. What's the sort of size of your market?
In what sense? You mean in terms of
the
revenue?
The amount of money is available in that market.
Well, it's very difficult to say. I think it's evolving. It's a dynamic number. I don't think anybody really knows, in the sense that
we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars or tens or.
Well, the claim is that you've got a few $100 million in total in digital advertising.
Right.
In total, right? So this goes to a large extent to Google and to Facebook, and then you've got like something maybe 30% going to Yahoo and the independent publishers.
30% of about what?
Of a couple of $300 million. This is
$300 million.
Yeah, at this point in time. But the thing is, budgets are shifting.
And that's right now.
That's right.
And so there's plenty of budget left to go online.
Absolutely.
Out of say TV or
estimates. Again, it's very rough. Estimates talk about something like 5% or something of total advertising budgets being online. I don't know. If anybody has better statistics, please share.
And what do you think? What's the potential market size for you guys?
For the restaurant industry, our share of the wallet from the restaurant is more from the marketing side rather than, like per order or commission based model. We've never actually bothered to calculate the market size. We just assume that.
You just think it's big.
We just think it's really, really big.
You think it's a really, really big number.
Yeah. Yelp is primarily earning its revenue from just America, and they're $1 billion company, and expected to grow, maybe. But yes, especially in the developing world, it's very hard to estimate.
But there's obviously, you're basically hitching your wagon to a rising star, aren't you?
If that's a developing market is a rising star, yes.
Yeah. And I'm presuming you guys have a mobile strategy.
Yeah, we have apps across all platforms. Yeah.
We're focused on iPhone and Android for this moment of time.
Which has got the most traction for you?
iPhone.
Really? iPhone?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Not Android?
Our Shahia application, like the application for our website specifically, has something like 310,000 downloads, and our Android like less than 100. Although Android uptake is going up. We're noticing it in our traffic, on our web traffic. I think if a couple of months ago, Android surpassed internet usage, surpassed iPhone in internet usage, at least on our website.
It surpassed internet on iPhone.
Yeah,
so
if you take the take mobile users of Shahia.com, a couple of months ago, Android users surpassed the number of
Android app users.
Android
web
iPhone
users.
Web users.
Right.
So,
but do you have native apps as well?
Sorry?
Do you have native apps?
Yep.
Yeah, native.
Yeah,
of course.
As well as.
In addition to be able to browse it on your smartphone. Absolutely. Yeah. The downloads are for native apps.
Any questions about this particular market? Omar.
Hello. Hi, guys. I'd like to hear from you, Albinder. Why the Middle East? Why now? In terms of your expansion strategy.
Okay. So when we had started, we've had a very different life cycle as a startup because we were funded by a strategic company, not a VC firm. So when we were young and wanted to go and capture the world, they told us, you're not doing that until you make money in the market that you started in. So we had to become profitable in India before they would let us step out. And we had to even to ourselves, we realized we had to have a proof of concept. So we were looking for what's going to be our first market outside of India. Dubai has 60% Indian population, Indian subcontinent, looked a lot like India and had the same consumer behavior where there was a very good delivery market, there's a very good dine-out market. We need both of them to fire at the same time. We also have a nightlife section which is relatively smaller but still significant. So that was how our first market came about. And then from that we built up a template of what kind of markets are going to be good for us. So we've so far scouted 23 markets, we've picked 7 of them. So we have a 30% rate of markets that we pick.
What was the
So we actually look at a bunch of things apart from demographics. We actually look at both the B2C and the B2B side. Like, okay, you have, is this a growing market? Is this good internet penetration? Are we going to be able to get users from it? Are users actually searching for what we're providing online? And then on the B2B side, you actually have to go and see what kind of restaurant behavior is sort of driving the industry. Whether we had collected 7,000 menus in Singapore, and then we shut it down, because it's a very one-dimensional market. Nobody orders. There's no delivery market there. So it was basically killing discovery. So we sort of learned that lesson, whereas most of the markets in the Middle East, they are very like evenly based on delivery, takeout, and dining out.
There's a question over there.
Omar actually asked my initial question, so I'll ask a follow-on question. How's it going in the UK, given Yelp's struggles, even the mighty Yelp, to make an impact in the UK?
So UK, so far, so good. We only launched UK about 2 months ago now. So we are sitting on about 200,000 visitors a month. The number is growing very well. What has really helped us in UK is the really long tail of the restaurants. So like central London sort of is just blitzed by every possible restaurant listing service that's out there. We are seeing a lot more visitors coming in from the fringes. So like the moment you get out of the WC, ECs, those zip codes, we see a lot of users like coming in. So London has been a little bit more challenging than an empty market like Dubai was when we entered. But we are sort of making a lot of progress, and most of it's driven by the menu cards that we're putting up. So we weren't really sure if London, there would be users would like want to look at menu cards. But we went out there, we collected 16,000 menus. And then if you go on the next platform which has menus, which is maybe a Just Eat or a Top Table, there are a couple of thousands of them. That's about it. So we have users who like still search for just menus. They just come online, they have a restaurant in mind, or they live in Surbiton and they want to like look for menus for restaurants in Surbiton. So that has proven to be a very good hook for us.
Final questions. Oh, 2 of them. Go for it.
So back to the user reviews part, the user-generated content. What do you do when you launch in a new market, when there are no reviews and you want to get as many reviews as possible so that people then visit the website and become...
So there are a couple of things we've tried so far. We, for example, launched Qatar with 4 user reviews, which was all like, our staff who had visited these restaurants. I was one of them. But with London, we actually launched the website by invitation only. So we reached out to a lot of bloggers. We reached out to friends and family and like people who've been living in London. And we basically asked them to start reviewing restaurants. So even for a huge market size like London, we only launched with 1,500 reviews. See, we don't ever pitch ourselves as a review-first platform. We will provide you all the information. We'll provide you the menu as you see it, and then we trust the users are smart enough; they'll make the decision. The reviews will come over time, and hopefully add more value to the platform.
Next question.
So your operation of collecting menus is probably huge. I mean, it's something you do. You do a lot of legwork.
We update them every 90 days too. So
yeah. So how do you imagine this being a scalable operation, especially that you have a lot of competitors like online ordering websites or review websites and stuff like that? So how do you imagine being profitable going into different markets?
I mean, India and UAE are already they've broken even already. So we know the way to profitability because we've sort of made to learn that before we could step out of India. So the menu updation, the operational bit of it is probably the most sort of, the hardest part of our jobs, where we constantly have to build teams that are very efficient at getting this done. And so far, we've been able to do it pretty easily because India itself provides you such a massive workforce advantage that, from a cost perspective as well as from a skill perspective, that you can keep building it out. The bigger challenge for us is, you launch a market like London, and then every 90 days you have to sort of go back to each of those 16,000 restaurants and ask for the menu again. Thankfully, London is also a more developed market, so restaurant owners, once you go the first couple of times, you build a relationship, they will send you the menu the next time around. So there are a bunch of ways to go about it, but yes, operationally, we sort of have the cost advantage of being based out of India, our content team is based out of India. That helps us out a lot.
Any other final questions?
I just wanted to know what is the kind of, where is your weight of the operations? Like you mentioned you have 19 cities, right? What is what are the biggest 3 or 4 cities in the operations or in the reviews that you're seeing?
Okay.
In MENA.
Right.
In MENA. In the MENA region.
Or overall, so we are actually in 20 cities as of this morning. But in terms of number of restaurants, London is the biggest, followed by Manila and Bombay. In terms of revenue, Delhi is our biggest revenue earner, followed by Dubai. I'm not sure which is the third one right now.
How about guys? How about you? I mean, where's the
our
biggest
users
in
are
MENA?
mainly from Saudi Arabia, like approximately 35-40%. Then Egypt, some 25%. Rest of GCC countries, 10%, and the rest is global.
Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much to our panelists. I think we're going to end bang on 5, just about. So we're back on time. See you later. Thank you very much.